Ladies and gents, welcome back to another Once Human video. Today, we're gonna be testing the Last Valor Soccer or SCAR, giving you guys my tips and tricks for it. As you can see, this gun is not owned by me, the owner is my friend. If you want to know how to trade gear in this game, go check out my video on how to do so. In the next video, we're gonna test the MP7 that I'm carrying right now in my hands. Yeah, not this gun today, next time. So let's swap our preset to the Shrapnel SCAR. So we are gonna use steel ammo for the testing. We have our mods as purple light rifle mag, a tactical laser sight, a normal sight that I bought from the shop, and a muzzle hammer compensator. You can obtain these mods by just exploring. I have made a video on how to get accessories. Make sure to check that out. So let's press O. Let's press blueprints. Let's go to any weapon, find any weapon that has a buff on it, like power surge, burn, or anything like that. Fortress warfare as well, like this one. Right click on the weapon, click on details, scroll down a little bit and hover on I keyboard and press X. Here you will see a full list of buffs in the game, what they do, their stats. The golden scar, the weapon we're using, is shrapnel. So this is what shrapnel does. Upon hitting an enemy with a bullet, deals weapon damage of 50% attack to a random unhit part. Once you shoot a bullet, the shrapnel will proc on an enemy based off your weapon damage. So if you do 500 damage, your shrapnel will do 250 damage to an enemy. The element type is the same as the weapon's element. The additional damage can crit, strike weak spots, and will decay with distance. So if you're more far away, the shrapnel will do less damage. It will take the damage you have, whatever shrapnel damage bonus you have, it will multiply it with. So let's say you're doing 500 damage with your bullet. Your shrapnel damage will be 250. And then let's say you have 50% shrapnel damage factor bonus. Well, then we would take that 250% damage and then we multiply it with 50% shrapnel damage bonus. And you can find your shrapnel damage bonus in your inventory. When you press C, here it will pop up. This AK passive has a 60% shrapnel damage bonus. This car has a 30% shrapnel damage bonus. And it also has a shrapnel crit damage bonus, but that's only for shrapnel. That doesn't mean that it's going to your actual crit. It's only going for your shrapnel. So that's basically how shrapnel works. So basically what you're seeing over here on the screen right now is how every single shrapnel gun works in the game. This is the passive for shrapnel. Now if you check blueprints and go to SCAR, let's read the description. It has a 4% chance to trigger shrapnel. So when you shoot bullets, that bullet you shoot, it can split and trigger shrapnel or proc shrapnel. 4% chance to trigger shrapnel with a hit. Okay, crit hits count as 2 hits, and crit hits grant shrapnel trigger chance +1 for 1 second. So what this does is it actually just triggers more shrapnels as you crit. As you saw right there, I triggered 3 shrapnels instead of 2. Look at this. You saw that? That was 2 shrapnel triggers right there because we did not crit. But if we crit, just pay attention. That right there was not a crit, so we did 2 shrapnel hits. And the reason why we're doing 2 shrapnel hits is because we're wearing this armor, or this beret helmet. And this helmet gives you a +1 hit part. So if I wasn't wearing this, let me unequip it. I will hit only 1 shrapnel on a wide bullet, or without a crit. Right there, you saw that? That was wide damage, and we did only 1 shrapnel hit. Basically, after you crit, you have 1 second to trigger 3 shrapnels instead of 2. Or if you're not wearing the helmet, you trigger 2. So if I shoot fast, you saw that was 2. That right there was 2 shrapnels. So after you if you just spam the weapon, you will trigger it for some time. It's for 1 second. So for 1 second, you'll be hitting 3 shrapnels. So if I equip this back, let's equip it back. Right now we triggered 3 shrapnels because we're wearing this beret helmet. Now there are 3 shrapnel blueprints. If I go to the helmets, armor blueprints, and right here, cage helmet frag, shrapnel trigger count +1. This thing, the developers have forgot to change this helmet. I'm telling you, I kid you not, probably doesn't matter what you're using. If you're using this helmet, it works the same way as this helmet. Shrapnel hit part +1, shrapnel trigger count +1. They both work the same. The only difference is that this helmet has less HP and PSI intensity than this one. This one has 92 PSI and 590 HP, while this one has just slightly lower. But yeah, they both act literally the same and work the same. The devs just forgot to update this helmet because in the previous beta test, what this helmet did was SCAR used to work a little bit different, and it wasn't based off chance to trigger shrapnel. It was based off hits. So every 4 shots you fire, it would trigger shrapnel, and crit would count as hits. So if you wore the cage helmet, your shrapnel would trigger every 3 hits instead of 4. It would basically skip 1 hit. However, now that doesn't matter anymore. So if you get this helmet, use it. If you don't have this helmet, use the beret. Use this helmet. The gas-tied helmet, however, what this does is some people say that it makes you trigger only 1 shrapnel max when you shoot. So instead of seeing 3 shrapnel numbers pop up, like 2 right there, you will see only 1. However, I don't know. Did they mean to make it trigger only 1 shrapnel, or did they mean to actually add a +1 to trigger? You guys can be the lab rats. Let me know if this helmet allows you trigger maximum 4 shrapnel parts, or probably not, because that would be too broken. But I'm pretty sure this helmet limits your shrapnel hits to maximum 1, and it just increases shrapnel damage. I don't know really. I have never tested this helmet, so let me know down below in the comment section, guys. This gun is gonna be okay to use. However, the mods right now that we have for this gun are kind of doodski, so you can see that I have momentum up for my helmet, fire rate +8% for the first 50% of the magazine, weapon damage +25% for the next 50% of the magazine. So the first time you shoot it, it will have only fire rate for the half of the mag, and after you reload it, it will get 25% weapon damage increase for half of the bullets, and then it will just go back and forth. Next up, the Smask mod is Shrapnel Carnage Precision. What this mod does is just your shrapnels will try to hit the weak spots more, which is the head, by 80%. So it will just target the head more, and it will have 20% to hit the body and stuff, basically not in the head. And shrapnel weak spot damage is increased by 20%, so your shrapnel will just do more damage to the head. Not your bullet, but shrapnel. Don't get confused. And for the SCAR, we're using a pretty good mod actually, but there's a better mod, which is the more shrapnels you shoot, your crit for the shrapnels will increase by 1%. I think that's the best mod for the SCAR. However, if you don't have that, just use this obliterate modification. Just use this. Also, for the substats, what you want to go for is, well, if you can, go for weapon damage, crit damage, status damage reduce, obviously, because other people will be using power surge like crazy, like me. Anyways, weapon damage and crit rate is the main sauce for this gun. For the gloves, we're using crit rate, and crit rate is going to be so important for this gun, because if you crit, you're going to hit 3 shrapnels, so, you know, you need a gold crit. Also, you could be using this mod right here, cannot deal weak spot damage, crit rate +10%. Like, you could be using this, but it's lacking that weak spot damage, because your shrapnels will not do weak spot damage when you hit the body. But you will do more damage because you're critting more and you're hitting 3 shrapnels. So also, my bullets I'm using are steel. As you can see, steel bullets. I could craft tungsten, but I'm not gonna bother. It's just inflating the damage. I'm just gonna show you this with steel rifle bullets. And Cradle buffs I'm using is AR damage increase, damage +20% when holding rifles. After hitting a weak spot, status damage +25% for 3 seconds. This is wrong. I'm not supposed to have that, but there's nothing else you can carry. You can carry this. You summon a deviant, and while you have it summoned, you'll do 50% more damage. So, like this, summon it, and you'll just do more damage. But however, this is not that efficient. So if you're doing PvE, sure, you can use this, but obviously you don't want to waste your deviant energy This is important. Weapon damage 25% for 4 seconds after switching weapons and reloading. Basically, when you switch your weapon like this, boom, 25% damage increase. Switch weapon, boom, increase damage. Very nice. Alright, next thing is the... I'm gonna just have this on, I guess. Next thing is the after hitting a weak spot with bullet effects, bounce and shrapnel, bullet effect damage 25% for 3 seconds. Your shrapnel has to hit the weak spot. And after your shrapnel hits the headshot like that, your shrapnel will do more damage by 25%. That's that. Bullet hunt. After killing a target with ranged weapons, shrapnel damage plus 35% for 15 seconds. Pretty juicy. Have to have this if you're using shrapnel. And that's basically it for shrapnel. Here you can't really scroll down, I guess. But if you hover your mouse over here, you can still see the buffs. There's nothing else to put in here. After defeating a unit you marked, weapon damage 25%, weak spot damage 35%, lasting for 15 seconds. If you have a crossbow, which I don't, and I don't care about it. If you have this crossbow, basically you use this crossbow to mark enemies. So you shoot the bow, it will mark the enemy, and if you kill the enemy, then you can, I guess, use this bounty hunter in the cradle. However, I don't care about these things where you have to roll, you have to jump, you have to do this and that, and you have to crouch to get some damage bonus. I just like to shoot stuff, dude. I don't want to swap my weapon. I don't want to do this and that. Like, if you want to do that, I mean, you could use the crossbow, you know, shoot once and then swap to your scar and finish the kill. But like, that's too much work, man. I rely on one gun when I'm using it. So I reload and I shoot. I reload and I shoot. The next mod is boots. You can put any mod here. However, I cannot really tell you what's the best mod for this right now because we don't know the endgame mods. We have not seen it. Endgame mods will be different than it was in CBT3. So if you played in CBT3, there will be new mods. We will find out soon. There are good mods such as slow and steady. This existed in previous CBT, and this is probably still going to be meta in this global release. So you get basically melee weapon 8%. On gold, you will get 10%. And you also get status damage. Also, when your HP is above 90%, you get another 8% weapon damage. Or just damage in general. Damage in general for shrapnel, for your gun. Yeah. And if this was gold, you get 10%. However, this is when your HP is above 90%. So if your HP goes below 90%, you lose that damage bonus. 8% or 10%. This would be a really good mod, by the way. I'm gonna actually put that on. I don't know why I'm not using it. The hell? This mod would be Garbanzo. Just stick with slow and steady. Make sure your HP is always above, you know, 90% and you're good to go. This is a good mod, but I think I will, for Scar, you want Fateful Strike. It just depends what substats you get, really. As for the legs, I'm just using weapon damage. Weapon damage would be better because shrapnel is based off weapon damage. So the more weapon damage you can stack, the better. Weapon damage bonus is 50% on my Scar. And yeah, by the way, if you're using Fateful Strike, you will lose when weak spot damage. So again, you're trading stuff away because this mask, if you're using this mod, which is you need to use it, you'll get no headshot damage on your weak spots with this. Anyways, my Scar does not have full calibration. We're gonna be using, this is steel ammo with MP7. Dude, compared to the Scar is gonna shoot 5 bullets and the MP7 is gonna shoot 60 bullets, basically. You're gonna get melted against this MP7. Far range, however, I'm not sure, but far range, I would use a sniper against the Scar. So like, by the time the Scar hits his 4 bullets, they're gonna probably get headshotted twice. But yeah, next video will be the MP7 guide. Oh, by the way, how you obtain the Scar is you press G on the wish machine and you just find the blueprint, which is in the rifle one right there. You buy it. You can also roll it from the echoes from the rift, which you unlock after you spin everything here, I think. If you click this exclamation mark, click here. It says everything what you can get here. For example, 5% to get a complete blueprint, and you can get Jaws, shotgun raining, the last valor, there it is. You can get the blueprint by 5%. I wouldn't really gamba this shit because I don't like RNG in games. You would probably spend like 50k to get some garbanzo. So the best solution is to press G and buy whatever you want. As for if you get a duplicate Scar blueprint, you can press O blueprints, go to Scar over here. You right click it. Let's say this, imagine this is the gold Scar. And you would press BP locked and you put the blueprints you got, spare blueprints, and you can level it up to 2 star. You'll do a little bit more damage with it. But yeah, that's about it for the Scar. This is a good PvE weapon, the Scar. It's also could be a good PvP weapon, but it fires slow. I don't like the fire rate of these Scars. Its damage is okay, but I think that the Pioneer AK would be still better than the Scar. For PvE, this Pioneer AK would be worse. For PvP, the Pioneer would be better than the Scar. And I think that this Scar is better than this Scar. The purple Scar power surge is better than the gold Scar. As for the armor you want to use when you use this build, you will definitely need the helmet. For the mask, it's up to you what to use. You can use 2 scout parts or 1 part, which is max HP or weapon damage. That's 3 total now. For the top, you can use max HP heavy duty if you want. Since shrapnel is not a element damage, you don't need element damage. You need weapon damage, and weapon damage could be a Bastille set, which wearing 1 part will give you weapon damage plus 10. However, you need to be above 70% HP for that. You will probably need Shelterer for status damage reduction, 15%. Or you can use Savior set, medicine cooldown, and then you will also need another part of it, which will give you weapon damage 10% above 70% HP. Status damage doesn't really matter here, but it would be nice. This would be good if you were using like a elemental damage weapon. So like Jaws, for example, it would benefit from the weapon and status damage. However, for shrapnel, status damage is useless. So I don't know if you would want to use this, especially 2 parts of it even. Why? You could probably use Falcon set 2 parts for the rolling and crit damage. However, I don't know really if I would use that. It's all up to you. You decide what armor you build for shrapnel. I don't think I'm gonna run shrapnel in this season. Lone Wolf gives you magazine capacity 10% and crit rate. So this might be this might work out for the Scar, since Scar is heavily dependent on crit rate. But yeah, there's not much you can do with armor here. Just make sure you build a tank, a little bit of a weapon damage. You can definitely for sure use Bastille 1 part. Other than that, you can use 2 scout parts, and that's about it. Well, ladies and gents, I hope this video helped you guys. Let me know down below in the comment section what you want to see for the next video. Do you actually want to see the MP7 build guide? Let me know. I think the power surge is going to be meta though in this release, so until they make a patch note again for it. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and peace out.